After nearly 8 years since the original, we finally have CarX Drift Racing Online 2. The demo is available right now on Steam. If you go and wishlist the game, you can try out the demo yourself, so definitely go and do that after this video. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say the game feels and looks incredible. The new damage, the new physics, the cars, the graphics, it is such a huge step up from anything we've seen from CarX in the past, and that's really exciting. So there's a lot to love here, but there's definitely some rough edges that I think they need to smooth out before the game becomes a purchasable product. And we're going to dive into that today. Now, of course, it is a demo version, so everything here needs to be taken with a grain of salt because that's probably going to change by the time this game is viable on Steam. But it is public, it is playable, so I'm sure that means that they're open and willing to receive feedback. So that's what we're gonna do. There's enough of the game in this demo to see the direction that they're going and really test out and see how the game feels and get an idea of what they want this game to be. So let's jump in, talk about the good, the bad, and everything else that you need to know about the newest installment in the CarX Drift Racing series. Let's get straight into it. The very first thing that hits you is how good this damn game looks. The lightings, the visuals, the car models, the reflections, the tracks, it all looks absolutely stunning. And that's with the game locked at midday. The time progression's not there yet. We can't see sunset, sunrise, nighttime. It's all at midday and it looks this good. So it's only up from here. The Ebisu complex looks freaking amazing. It's huge, it has all the tracks, you can drive around to all of them. It's like a massive free roam area and it looks spot on. And the Fuji Speedway complex looks incredible as well. They have the short course, the full GP circuit, there's service roads everywhere, and the entire area looks amazing. I cannot wait to see all the courses and stuff fully fleshed out in the final version of the game, but the recreations so far look so good. And then there's Kami Road, the new Kami Road, and oh my god, this map is stunning. Just look at the trees, the towns, the roads. They've done such a good job reinventing this track. It's always worrying when they bring like old favorites back into games, but oh my god, they did such a good job here. This looks like a little mountain road, little mountain towns in Japan. It looks perfect. So I cannot stress enough how good they've done recreating and making these tracks for this game. I'd honestly say this is the first CarX title we've gotten that really looks like a modern racing title. I mean, this could stand up against AAA games with the way this looks right now. If you stripped away any of the branding, you didn't know what video you're watching here, and someone just showed you this blindly, you would never ever guess that this is a sequel to Drift Racing Online 1. I mean, just look at this footage here. And then compare it to what we're seeing in this demo. It's astounding how far they've come. Now let's talk about the physics, because I think this is where the demo really shines, because this is such an early build of the game and it already feels incredible. The suspension feels more alive than ever before. The tires, you can feel exactly what the tires are doing all the time. Even on a controller, by the way, you can feel and see the tires working. There's parts of the road on some maps that are wet and it feels wet, like properly wet. And the amount of suspension simulation that's happening, the tire simulation, you can turn on there's little info boxes that you can switch on that show you the amount of pressure on every single part of the tire whilst you're driving. There's tire heating, dynamic tire pressures with the tire heat. There's different weight distributions on the tire depending on your camber and your G-forces and your load. The active toe gain and Ackerman and steering offset, steering rack placement, all of these things matter so much, and you can feel every single tuning change you make, you can feel in the car, like one-to-one, exactly what you've done. It's honestly amazing. I think this is the game that, although it is still a simcade game, I think it's definitely gonna push CarX outside of that. It's just an arcade drift game stigma. This is a simulator game. It still obviously has that aspect where it's very accessible to controller players, So I don't think it's broken fully out of Simcade yet, but it is not an arcade game anymore. This is, you can tell that they're going for a simulator esports title. And I can imagine this game feels incredible if you've got like a really, really nice wheel setup, because the physics, they're bang on. They're really, really solid. I don't think they need to change anything at all when it comes to the physics. The next thing is the car models and the customization. Man, they have smashed it here. Like if you look back to DRO1 and CarX Street, I think they share a lot of stuff between them, but some of the quality of the parts and the cars in those games is a bit off. Like the shadows and the lighting and reflections look a bit weird and things don't fit properly. That's all gone in this game. Although it's a demo, so our car list is short right now, the depth in the detail of the cars and the body kits is honestly amazing, and there's more options. Everything fits together. You can mix and match stuff really, really well. Everything fits, and the quality of them is just so much higher than what we've seen in the past titles from CarX. If every single car that comes to this game has this level of detail, it's going to be incredible. You look at DRO1 and honestly the modifications and the quality of parts is really carried by the modding community. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think if CarX continues on this trajectory and keeps putting this amount of detail in all the cars they add, I don't think modders are going to be able to keep up with the level of quality that CarX is putting out here. It's that good. Another really big step up I noticed almost straight away is the sound design. I'll play a few clips of some different cars driving around here just so you can have a listen to. So the game sounds great, and I do think that the engine sounds, the raw engine sounds themselves, still need some work. They sound a bit robot-y and fake. The sound localization and the overall soundscape of the game sound amazing. What I mean by that is where the sounds are supposed to be coming from, that's where they're coming from. Like in older CarX games, that's something I've noticed before and I've had problems with, is all the sounds get muddled together because they come from the same place. There's like one sound source on every single car, but that's not the case in this. The exhaust sounds like it's at the back of the car. The gearbox sounds sound like they're coming from the gearbox. The induction and turbo sounds come from the front. The tire screeches come from the tires. Even little things like the backfires sound like they're backfiring in the exhaust, not out the back of the car. And then there's the environmental sounds, the reverberation, the tunnels sound great. It's really overdone in a lot of games, but in this one it sounds proper. The road noise, the air going past the camera, the environmental sounds, it all sounds really, really good and really accurately placed. And this might sound like a little thing, but overall, it makes the game feel so much more alive and so immersive. And you won't really feel that until you play the game and hear it for yourself. And it's one of those things that's not really something that you actively think about, but it being accurate and correct makes such a massive difference in the end product. If they can go over all of the engine sounds and update the raw engine sounds to make them more realistic and sound less produced, this could honestly rival sound design in like AAA racing games. It really could. Like, it's that good, and the bones are there. I think they just need to they need to polish it a little bit. They give it a little scrub up, polish that final product before the game officially releases. And there's plenty of time for that because it's going to go into early access and stuff. So I'd love to see them work on this a little bit more. But it's a great start. Now, of course, we have to talk about the new damage system. This is arguably the coolest thing that they've added to this game, and it adds a whole nother level to this game that I don't think we ever really thought we needed. Now, we always thought having damage in a game like this would be sick, and like stuff like BeamNG kind of proves that, but adding it to a game like CarX, it elevates it to a level that I think is beyond what I was expecting it to do. Other than just it being cool that bumpers and stuff can fly off when you hit things, when you scrape against walls now, the car gives way. It doesn't just bounce you off the wall like it does in Street and DRO1. When you're hitting your opponent or someone you're tandeming with and you smash their door, it doesn't bounce you off, it doesn't bounce them away. The cars actually give, like the metal bends. It's just way more forgiving. It feels so much more realistic and less punishing for driving aggressively and driving fun, to be honest with you. There is a little bit of a downside though. It needs some optimization, especially depending on what brakes on the car. I've noticed sometimes if I've got bumpers and taillights and the spoiler all hanging off, my frame rate gets tanked. I'm talking like 20 FPS sometimes. And that's just not good enough. It is really, really sick that things can fly off the car and be hanging, but if I'm taking 20 FPS hits just to see my bumper flapping around, it's kind of a problem. But it is really cool and it's super early days, so I'm sure they're going to optimize this. But I don't have a bad computer, so if this is happening for me and it's giving me a noticeable performance hit, it really needs to be worked on. Still though, a huge respect for them actually implementing this damage system. I know it couldn't have been an easy thing to do, and we've been asking for it for years and years and years, talking about how cool it would be, and it is really, really cool, don't get me wrong. I just don't want to lose 20 FPS when I bump into someone. That's all, but huge props for getting this done. It's awesome. Now that's going to segue me into the first like major issue I'm really having with this demo, and that's going to be performance. It's really map dependent. Ebisu is by far the worst offender of all the three maps. Kami Road's pretty good, and Fuji, depending on where you are on the track, it can be really bad. But this game runs rough, like really rough sometimes. The worst part is lowering your graphics doesn't really seem to fix it. It bumps my average FPS up, but when the game's like really chugging, it doesn't matter what graphics settings you have. You can put it in full potato mode, low everything, and it still just chugs. And I don't know, maybe there's a setting that's not working properly, or maybe there's just something specific I'm doing in the game that is making it happen, but it's just really bad. And then you add the damage on top of it, and then you're losing like 10 FPS because your bumper's hanging off, and then you add another car that's also damaged, that's like another 10 FPS, 20 FPS. It's really, really, really rough. It's a real shame because when the game runs smoothly, it feels great. Like the physics feel awesome, the handling is pretty good, the game looks amazing, but when it's running rough, it just ruins the whole experience for me. And to be honest, I really wanted to play the game more to get a better idea and kind of help explain things to you guys a little bit easier and maybe help you out with some settings, but the frame rate gets so bad, it's actually making me motion sick playing the game. I play it for 10 to 15 minutes and I've got a headache and I feel sick and I need to take a break. Which I don't like saying that because I don't want to trash it, because it's a really cool game, but it really needs to be better. Like, if I can't play it for more than 15 minutes at a time without feeling sick, then there's a serious problem going on. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely in a playable state, especially if you're just doing like the career and doing the tandem battles, because you're not loading in much of the map when you're doing that. But if you're in free ride and you want to explore the big maps and look around, it definitely doesn't run the best. Hopefully this is just like an early demo build performance issue, and this will be ironed out well before the game comes out. Because the foundation for this game is there. It runs really good when there is something that's not causing it to run bad. it just needs to be optimized so it runs like that all the time. The next thing that I'm kind of having trouble with in this game is the steering and the handling assistance. Now, I'm gonna refrain from saying it's a problem because it's definitely something that's personal preference, but it's definitely not my preference. I don't love it how it is right now. It feels like it's fighting you a lot more than it's helping you a lot of the times. And sometimes it does do the right thing, and don't get me wrong, it's not game breaking. I've put like 10 hours into the game and I've figured the handling out and I can play it just fine. But there's still some kind of disconnect that I'm feeling. Like the controls just feel really clunky and unintuitive sometimes and really unpredictable. And when those moments do happen, it hurts my experience a lot more than when it's going well does for helping my experience, if you get what I'm saying. Like those moments where it doesn't do what I want it to do, it's so jarring and annoying that it really takes away from all the good stuff that's happening with the steering assistance. And I think it's a simple fix. I think the options menu needs to be better explained. I think there needs to be more settings to adjust it. I don't think the steering system itself is a problem, but I definitely don't think it's as polished as it should be. And I spent like an hour fine-tuning the settings and getting it to a spot that felt the most comfortable. And if you want to copy my settings, I'm going to put them here on the screen for you to copy down and try them out and let me know what you think. And if you've got some settings to put here that is working for you, let me know so I can copy them down as well. But this is as good as I got it after meddling around with it for ages, and I couldn't even really figure out what a lot of these sliders were actually doing. No matter how much I adjusted them, they just felt super strange, and this is where I landed. But I don't know, I'm just trying to see this from the perspective of someone who's a more casual player who maybe doesn't understand cars and drifting as much as, you know, me and all my friends do. They're going to download this game, try it, and the steering is going to be really, really hard, and they're not going to understand it. They're going to play it for 5 minutes, get frustrated, and leave, right? And I don't want that. I want this game to succeed. I love CarX. I love the products and the games they make. So I would like everyone to be able to enjoy this game, regardless of how much you know or how hard the settings are to understand. I would like it to be easy for everyone. So I just don't think it's in the best place right now with the way the steering assistance is. And I don't think they need to change the way the steering assistance is. I think they just need to make it more customizable and just, like I said, it just needs to be more polished so that it's more predictable and there's less of those weird moments. So I'm just in the game now, and unfortunately, we don't have any of the online features in this demo, which is a shame because I would have loved to be able to play with all my mates and all the Yanaka boys and do some online rooms, some duels, even run some top 32s to try out the tournaments, but we just don't have that yet. Obviously, this is a super early demo build. We are getting early access, apparently, according to Steam, in Q4 of 2025, and you know, we're already in October, and there's only a couple months left, so surely before we know it, we're going to be able to try all this stuff out. And stay tuned, because once that does happen, I'm definitely going to be on here running tournaments with all the Yanaka boys and Magic, and we're going to have online rooms going, I'm sure, and we're going to run match series and stuff, I think. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. Although we can't access all of the features, the game is looking amazing. The maps are great, the cars are great, the physics are great. There is a couple of things that I really am having problems with, but I'm gonna assume that they're growing pains and they're gonna get resolved or at least looked into and refined before the game comes out and before it's a purchasable product. The year's almost over and the game's about to be launched or early access. That's not very far away, so I do kind of hope that there's enough time for them to get this stuff done. But I have faith in them. I love the CarX team. I love what they do. And if they can polish those little issues and figure out those little quirks, I can see this game being massive when it releases in early access, like genuinely huge. I haven't been this excited about a drift sim game or a drifting game since Assetto Corsa came out, the original Assetto Corsa. And the fact that it's CarX that I'm getting excited about means so much to me. I've been playing CarX Drift Racing since the first mobile game came out in 2013. I remember playing it on like my iPhone 4 in school, like at lunch breaks and drifting around with my mates and making stupid cars on that. Like, I've been playing this game for that long, so I would love to see this game do really, really well. But just to kind of wrap my thoughts up for this demo, this game feels like a huge leap forward for CarX Drift Racing and the CarX series as a whole. And as fun as this demo is, it does kind of feel like just a proof of concept to me right now. But that proof of concept is working. I'm so excited for this early access to come out and to get more features of this game unlocked so I can just to be able to play with all my mates. I cannot wait. I can't convey my excitement enough, and I hope all you guys are enjoying it as well. I'm going to keep trying to figure out my settings and get this game to handle the way I want it to, and once I do get that sorted, I'm going to try and help you guys tune your cars so you can get on and have a good go as well, because the base tunes, to be honest, they need some work. CarX, update the base tunes on the cars, please. They're not great. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments. Drop a like, drop a hype if you're feeling zesty, even subscribe, and we will be back in the next one. Have a fantastic day, guys, and I'm out. Peace.